Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another puzzle by FullDeck and missing a few cards. This one caught my eye particularly because it's a Fog of War. It's been a couple weeks since I've had a Fog of War. I have one that's sitting in the bank that I'm working on, but I don't think that one's going to be out quite yet. But the point is, we haven't done a Fog of War in a long time, and I want to do a Fog of War. And FullDeck and missing a few cards always make good puzzles, so put two and two together, you got a good day. That said, let's take a look at what's going on here. It's called Foggy Collective, again by FullDeck and missing a few cards, and let's check out our rule sets. So we got all Renban lines in this puzzle are length 5 and do not branch. We have to try to remember that. I am notoriously capable of forgetting rules. Then we've got standard Sudoku rules apply. So digits 1 through 9 appear once in every row, column, and 3x3 box. We've got fog, so part of the grid is covered with fog. As correct digits are placed, the fog will clear from surrounding cells, potentially revealing additional clues. Again, my normal description is if you somehow figured out what this digit was, all of this would clear fog, and there would be hopefully some new clues out there to help you proceed. Then we've got the Renban lines, so digits along a Renban line must form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So we do see one here. Remember, they must be 5 cells long and do not branch. So anyway, this is a 5-cell Renban, so it must have 5 digits that are consecutive and do not repeat, but they can be in any order. Then we have Kropki pairs, so digits and cells separated by a black dot are in a 2-to-1 ratio. Digits and cells separated by a white dot are consecutive, and not all dots are necessarily given. So if you look at this black dot here, these are in 2-to-1 ratio. Whatever this digit is, this one is either double or half of it. If you look at the white dots, these two are consecutive. So whatever this one is, this is one higher or one lower. And those are the rules. So not much else to speak on here, other than the link will be in the description below. But let's get started on this thing and see if we can get this thing solved. So that said, every time I start a Fog of War, where the heck do we start? Well, we've got to start in here somewhere, I guess, because that's the only information we have. Now, the first thing I thought of when I said that this was a 5-cell Renban is that you must have the digit 5 on it. Because if you have 5 cells, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or something in between. 5 is always there. 5 can't go on a black Kropki dot, so this is 5. Now, that doesn't clear anything, but it's something to think about. Now, the next thing would be, can we reduce our options for what these guys can be, these other black Kropkis? Because we know we can have a 1-2, a 2-4, a 3-6, or a 4-8. Can't use 5, 7, or 9. I guess we can say there's a 7 and a 9 in one of these 4 digits, but let's hold on that for just a second. Now, if we were to put a 1-2 in either of these two, we'd have to have 3-4 to make our Renban work. Well, you can't put a 3-4 on a black Kropki because they're not a 1-to-2 ratio. So we can't have a 1-2. Can we have a 2-4? Yes, we can. Because if you put 2-4, you have to be able to put 3 and 6, and that will work. Can we do 4 and 8? No, because that forces a 6 and a 7. So we know these have to be from 2-4 and 3-6. Which one's which, we don't quite know. But we can probably start using these white Kropki dots to determine what's going on here. So let's put the options in, and then we'll start paring things down. We have to have 1, we have to have 7 and 9, and we have to have an 8. This can never, or neither of these two can be 9s or 8s, so therefore these two are. Oops, wrong buttons. Now, if these are a 1-7 pair, that means these guys have to be from 2 and 6 to be able to be consecutive. The 1 has to go with the 2, the 7 has to go with the 6. Let's get rid of those. else does that tell us then? We get some pairs, and we have one more white Kropki dot to look at. Okay, we can tell you what this digit is. This cannot be a 4, because it has to have a digit it can be consecutive with, which is 3 or 5. But these would be 3 and 5. So this is 3. This is 4. This is 6. This is 2. And we get more information. This is 7. This is 1. This 3 now has to have a consecutive digit. 2 is the only thing it fits. So we get a 2 on this Renban line. Now, we're going to have, we know on this Renban, since we just found out this was a Renban, is that we already have a 9, 8, and a 7. So these have to be from 6 and 5. We also know that we have these 3 digits on this Renban plus 1 more, because we're only at 4. And since we have a 2, we know we have to have 3, 4, and 5 to go with a 1 or a 6. Which means this is 1 or 6 because it cannot be 3, 4, or 5. That was a weird noise. I don't know if that was just my headphones. Something went crazy there. What else does that tell us? I don't want to pencil mark in the 3 and the 4 or the 5 yet. Well, let's think about that. We know these digits, well, this digit particularly, let's think about it, is 3, 4, or 5. Because it cannot be the 1 or the 6. Because that one is up here. I know we're going to get rid of this 5 here in a second. And whichever one this is, the 1 or the 6, that takes up the extreme digit. We can't have another 1 or 6. Now, if this is a 3 or a 4, okay, so this can't be 3 because it forces us to be 6. This is 4, which means this is 8 because we've got the 2 already over here. We now have a 2 and a 4, and we know where this Renban now goes. These have to be from 3 and 5, and that forces this to be a 6 and this to be a 5. Now we have more information. That 6 gives us our 1. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going on. These have to be 9 and 7. That's all that's left in this region, which means that whatever is going on with this Renban must be 8, 6, and 5, which is good because these are 8s and 6s. So this cannot be either. It has to be the 5, and it's going to tell us where this thing goes. These have to be from 8 and 6. And this can't be 8 because it forced this to be a 4. So this is 6, this is 8, this is 3, this is 7. That's 9 and 7. This 5 now has to have a consecutive digit. It can't be 6, so it's 4. We actually know what these digits are, and we know what this digit is just a given of 9. These have to be from 1 and 2. All right, let's continue along. We know this Renban does this. We know there can't be a 5, but there has to be a 5 on the Renban, sorry. And it can't be any of these, so it's one of these two. This guy, on the other hand, 1, 2, 3, this is the 4th digit, but we don't know where the 5th one is. It could be, well, I guess we can see it can't go that way, but it could be any of these, is what I'm trying to say. Can we use that information for anything? I'm sure we can. What about this 8, 9? These have to be from 7, 8, 9. Oh, wrong button here. So we know we have a high digit on this Renban. So it's still possible we can get below that 5, but we're forced to put a 6 on it somewhere. So one of these is 6. We do not necessarily have to have a 4. or a 3. If this was a 9, what does that do? It means we have to have a 7, which would go in one of these two to go with our 6. And we would then have 6, 7, and 9. This would be 5. This would be 8. That seems to work. Right. There must be something more there we can see here. The other way to think, well, no, because even if we put a 7 on here, it doesn't mean that's a 6, 7, 5, 4, 3 or anything like that. It could still have the 8 or the 9 in one of these others. I guess we do know that one of these is an 8. Does that give us much practical use because it's going across the border? I guess we can say that there's certain digits that can't ever go here. We can never have a 1 on any of these, so one of these is a 1. We can't ever have a 2 on any of those, but that gives us 3 options there. Can't rule out the 3 in anything. 5s, there has to be a 5 in one of these guys. There has to be a 5 on this Renban because it's 5 cells long and there's no branching. So this thing either does this or this. Those are the only 2 options at the moment. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one of those 2. There has to be a 3 on this thing, so it either goes here or here. Because again, we only have 2 options. We can put them in like they do either one of these 2 things. So these are all of the options of where the Renban can go. Now, this is either a 1 or a 2. If it's a 2, let's think about that. It requires us to put a 3. We already know there's a 3, but specifically if this is a 2, this could not be a 3, so this would be the 3. And then that would force... Wait, that wouldn't work, right? Because, okay, let's step back for a second. It's either this or it's this. Whichever one it is, the 5 is down here. So none of these can be 3s. This has to be the 3. Therefore, this has to be the 2. This is either a 1 or a 4. Now we know what? We know this can't be a 1 because we'd have to put a 2 somewhere on here. We can't do that. So this is 2 and 1. And we can get rid of our markings because it's hiding what's actually happening. So this is our 5. This is either a 1 or a 6, and it can't be a 6, so it's 1, which means this is 4. Get rid of that. Let's go even further. What about this grouping of Kropkis? We know it can't be from 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So it's some 6, 7, 8, 9. And this can't be 6 or 8. Therefore, this can't be 7, and this can't be 9. So this is either a 6, 7, an 8, 7, or an 8, 9 in that fashion. Okay. Where does that take us? We've got a 4 here as well. We know we've got 5s have to go on these Renbans. We know we have 3 currently. I don't think there's enough with these 5s to rule out where this thing can go at the moment, though. Can we continue using this in some way? It doesn't have as much of the constraint as this one did. But it can't be a 1 because then there's a 1 down here. So it can't be 1, 2. But it could be 2, 3. Can't be 3, 4. Can't be 4, 5. Can't be 5, 6. So it's either a 2, 3 pair, or it's again with the 6, 7, 8, 9s. This can't be 9 or 7. So this can't be 8. I was hoping that would give us something. Because again, we don't have a 5 up here to necessarily tell us or reduce the options where 5s could go here. So is there anything else we've learned by putting in some of these digits now about where things can go? There has to be a 1 down here. Is there anything else we can do with that? We know there's no, well, we already knew that. There's no 1s on any of those. So one of these is a 1. Therefore, this is the 1. Okay. One of these must be a 1. Again, we don't know if this goes in here, so we can't rule out a 1 yet until we get further information. You know, one of these has a 3 on it and a 5 on it, just by Sudoku. And it has a 2 on it. So this is a 2, 3, 5. Come here, you. So if we know these are 2, 3, and 5, we know what these are. They have to be from 4, 6, and 8. This can't be 4. These 2 digits have to be from 7 and 9. We have a 6, 8 pair here, which removes our 6. This is a 6. Good. Now, what does that tell us about this? Not a whole lot, because we already knew the 6 was on it somewhere. We don't quite, oh, this can't be 6. We're going to know 2 digits that have to go down here, right? Because this has to have a 6 on it, and this has to have what? 4 and 8. So let's just put those out there for the moment. Then circle back. 2s. No, not quite. No, one of these is a 3. It's not quite getting us there still either. What else do we know? There has to be another digit in here somewhere. It's got to be a 3. Can there be a 3 on this? Yes, there can. If this is a 3, 5 pair, and this is a 4, and this is a 7, that would work. The other digit in here is a 7 or a 9. What about the 2 in this row? It could go either one. Well, it can't go here. Okay, there we go. We cannot put a 2 on here because we'd have to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we can't get up to 7. So this can't be 2. So this is 2. That's the 2 that isn't a 2, which means these are not 3s. We now have a 6, 8 pair. So this is not 6. And a 7, 9 pair. So this is just a 3. Now we see where this thing goes. We also have a 7, 9 pair. But let's think about this guy. Again, this is a 3, so the highest we can go is 4. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This has to be a 7. This has to be 6. This has to be 8. That's not 8. This is 8, which means this is 4 and 6. Okay. We now know that these are 3, 5, and 9. This is not 3. This is not 5. These are from 7, 8, 9. This is 8 or 9. Now, if we know that there has to at least be an 8 on this, it means there cannot be a 3, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 again. So there's no 3 here. This is 3. Which means we have a 5, 9 pair. This is 8. This is 7. This is 8. This is 9. This is 9. And this is 7. And therefore, this is 9. Then we can say that these have to be from 1, 2, and 4. This is not 1. This is not 2 or 4. This is 1. So that's 2 and 4. Now, this has to be a 5 because of this Renban. 5. This can't be 5. And we can put all these in 2 as well, because we know we have to have 1, 6, 9. Get rid of all this stuff. Do a little cleanup. This has to be 4, 7, and 8. Now, let's look at this guy, I guess. Or we can look up here and finish this first. 9 and 5, and then we can tell what these two digits are. They are 1 and 2. This can't ever be a 1, because that would have to be 2. So this is 2. This is 1. That's not 1. This has to be the 1, because 2 has to have something consecutive with it. Wrong button again. Now we know where this Renban goes. So these have to be from 5, 6, and 7. These can't be 7, so this is. That 5 over here gives us the 6 and the 5. Again, this can't be 5, so this is 5. This can't be 6. This can't be 7. This has to be 3 and 2. These can't be 1s, so this is a 1. And we are moving along. That 5 gives us our 3 and our 5. This is a given 2, I believe. Yes. What are these guys? We need a 3 and an 8. Nothing quite yet. These two are 4 and 9. That's correct. So I think we're just into finishing with Sudoku. So let's see what we've got left over. 1s are done. 2s appear to be done. 3s. We have an X-wing left. 4s on the other hand. We've got a few options. 5 is done. What about 6s? Let's actually just look at these guys, because I'm not seeing anything that's going to work its way out. Just going down the Sudoku numbers there. These have to be from 3, 6, and 9. This is not 6. This is not 3. So that's a 6, 9 pair. This has to be either 4 or 8 because of the row. And these just had to be 4, 8, and 7. All right, try to find, or let's look here. We know we've got a 2 and a 3 to go with the 5, so there has to be a 4 on this, which means that is a 4. And now we can't get up to a 9, so this is 6. There we go. We can finalize a lot of stuff now. This is 4. This is not 4 or 7, so it's 8. This is 7. That 8 gives us the 3 and the 8. That 4 gives us the 9 and the 4. The 3 gives us a 9. The 6 goes here, and this has to be a 3. There we go. You saw the puzzle. That was a great Fog of War. Everything worked out beautifully. Glad I picked that one up. Again, full deck of missing a few cards. Excellent puzzles every time. This one was somewhat on the easier side. I don't recall what it was. It's probably a 2 out of 5 or something like that, I think it was. But it was definitely a wonderful puzzle that everything flowed once you started once you figured out the initial in, everything just kind of worked through. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed that one. As always, I did. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.